The thing about the Burkle crater, I think it's the least likely. The reason being is because it would have given no notice, no warning. People could not have got ready in time. This thing at the most would have been 24 hours after it originally hit. So unless you knew a comet was coming, and there's no mention of that, I don't think it's likely. The second one is what's called the Black Sea Inundation. So we see the Black Sea currently in the news, of course, because of Russia and Ukraine. And it's a big open sea, but it never used to be. It used to be just a lake, about a third of the size, right in the middle. And if you look at the map, it's the one with the very dark blue. The royal blue around it would have been pasture land bordering onto that original, which would have been a very large lake. If you look in the southwest corner, where Turkey, the Asian side, almost touches onto the European side, there's a very thin sliver of water going through called the Bosphorus. But that was the end of the Mediterranean or the Aegean Sea. It was a shelf, a very thin sliver of land, like a land bridge, that stopped waters going any further. So the original Black Sea was literally nearly all land. We know, because of recent history, Turkey is full of earthquakes. They had, obviously, an earthquake that collapsed that bridge, and it allowed the Aegean and the waters of the Mediterranean to flow in. Imagine the Iguazu Falls or Niagara much more fierce. Is there any evidence that that water flooding in would have destroyed people and their homes? No. Well, there's an article that came out in the year 2000, and I'll read it. Marine archaeologists have found the first evidence of a people who perished in a great flood of the Black Sea that has been linked with the story of Noah's Ark. Using robot underwater vehicles more than 300 feet below the sea surface, they have begun to map a rolling landscape, fed by meandering streams, and marked with wattle and daub houses that was flooded more than 7,000 years ago. The discovery was announced yesterday by Robert Ballard, the scientist who discovered the wrecked Titanic. So you imagine the waters flowing in. It would have taken decades to fill out the Black Sea. Look at the map again, and that royal blue bit towards the east. Imagine a group of people there knew that the waters were coming towards them. What are you going to do? There's a point in Scripture that causes a lot of chortling from naysayers. How is it possible water could cover the whole of the world? Well, you're talking about Mount Everest being covered by water. I think the problem we have is we consider the modern sea level. Well, imagine the following. You're living at the lake side of the proto-Black Sea. You've got time to prepare. You can look southwest and you'd see a large outcrop of rock. In fact, you look at the map, you can see it pointing out. That would have been as tall as Gibraltar from the level that you would originally have been. That's now been covered by water. Who knows, could be 15 to 20 cubits above it. That mountain being covered by water would have absolutely overawed the people that would have lived in that area at that time. So when we come across the biblical account that 15 cubits upwards did the water prevail and the mountains were covered, Clan Noah, it's all the mountains covered by water. If you were a people whose whole area is about to be flooded and you don't know when it's going to end, you build yourself an ark, you see the waters rise, you literally rise above the mountains, and you land in the foothills of Mount Ararat, and you write about it. It's handed down. So I would hypothesize people living there saw this terrible event, wrote about it. I'm not saying that this is correct, but I can see it happening, and I could see this stuff being written down. And when I read Scripture, it seems to fit in quite well.